Okay, we have, I get my days confused, I guess, but Sunday we came in and had a normal Sunday and got the game over with. A few, final comments on Connecticut. Just really proud of, especially defensively, how we came out and played well for 4 quarters. Held UConn to 9 points. 3 field goals is a winning performance. Special teams wise, we had our best day. All 6 sides did some good things. 6 phases of the special teams units did their job and put our team in position to be successful. Offensively, we did just enough. We had a lot of opportunities because the defense was giving us the ball and the field position was good. Ended up making some plays, but it wasn't our best offensive performance to date. Physically kind of got beat, which is something that's pretty disturbing. So, but did end up making some plays and got us in position to win. From here, we will, today and tomorrow, we'll have 2 good 2-hour practices where we'll, try to maintain our football shape and our timing and get out there and just play a bunch of ball for a couple of days and lift weights, for a couple of days and then, take a couple of days off and then get back here this weekend and move forward to Syracuse. Take questions?
You mentioned timing a few times yesterday, again, right now. How quickly can you lose timing, and if you talk about how important it is, obviously, for what you guys are doing offensively?
You can lose it real quick. If you take a couple weeks off, you're back where you started in camp. That's just the realities of throwing the ball. Maintaining, how fast you run your routes. When the ball needs to come out of your hands. That the timing aspects of offensive football from a timing standpoint is critical. And if you do take, too many days off, then you're going to lose that. You got to start over. So our goal is to not lose it this week. Defensively, our goal is to get better at run fitting, specific stuff, which Syracuse poses some problems, much like UConn did, from a big physical, team to where they're gonna try to pound us and keep us off the field. And UConn did that for a quarter, but then we kind of got it together after that. But that's going to be Syracuse's plan as well, and we need to continue to get better at fit and runs. Which our goals at the end of the week is to be a week better, regardless if we play or not.
Do you expect a tougher stretch than the first stretch, the first of your schedule?
Yeah, probably. We talked about our goal being Big East champs. Well, that's the other 7 teams in the Big East's goal as well. So they're going to try. All 7 teams in the Big East are capable of winning this thing. That was something that's been talked about for a long time. It's what the Big East is about, and it's the way the Big East has been over the course of the last decade or so. So. Yeah, I do. And each game's going to present, its own challenges, and we know what the challenges of the next one's going to be. But then the next week against, Rutgers is going to be the same, same bit of challenges.
A lot of coaches would use this week to self-scout and check tendencies and try to break those tendencies. Do you worry about that with tendencies with you, or is your offense just your offense and you just do what you do?
Yeah, we pay attention to that. We compile those tendencies from game 1 to game 2, and then heading into game 3 we look at accumulation of the first 2, and we're now after 6 heading into game 7, we'll look at accumulation of the first 6. So that's an ongoing thing. That's not something that we need an off week to do.
You hear college coaches quite often complain about their special team play, as you were earlier this year. Why do you think it is that they do not hire a special teams coach and maybe combine? For example, most teams don't even have a tight end anymore, yet they seem to have tight end coaches somehow. You had an opportunity, for example, when your coach left, to hire a full-time special teams coach, but chose not to go that way. Why is that?
Well, yeah, I've done it both ways. A lot of the at Houston, we had a special teams coordinator that's was one of the best in the country, and at Oklahoma State we had a special teams coordinator that was one of the best in the country. So I've seen it done that way. You know, here in the situation that we were in, I didn't want to change anything because we had already worked everything throughout the spring, you know, and you know, was able to hire Darren Roberts to come in and do the return units, which he's a relatively young coach that's getting better at it every week, you know, and has done some good things already this year, but it fit the current situation, you know. You know, I wasn't hired to be the head coach in January, you know, so and when I was hired to be the head coach in June, I did not want to change anything, you know, and we didn't change anything. So that's what the cards were dealt, and you know, Steve Dunlap's doing a great job with the kickoff team, getting those guys better every week, and is doing a great job with the punt team, you know, from a coverage standpoint, not necessarily from a kicking standpoint, which, you know, we're really, you know, surprised and pleasantly surprised about how Molinari's, you know, punted last week, you know. So, you know, the PAT field goal team is something that people were complaining about, and it's probably been the most consistent part of our football team, you know. So I think special teams wise, we got exposed in one game. Other than that, I think it's been a winning performance.
With transitioning into your offense, how smooth has it gone, and especially compared to, you know, what you went through at Houston and Oklahoma State?
It's similar, you know. I think. I mean, I don't think about it. I think about what we're doing right now and what we got to do to get better for the next game, and that's how I've always been. You know, after the season, there's always time to reflect back and say, compare it to this year or that year or this year or that year. We're still trying to figure out who we are offensively and what we do best and what we need to do a little bit better, you know. So that's a week-to-week focus, and that's the way it's going to remain. You know, off-season's time to reflect back in the big picture and compare it to years past and all that, but right now we're pretty much focused on what we got to do to get a week better and then get a game better with Syracuse.
That's got to be encouraging, though, how many points you guys have scored and still kind of trying to figure out exactly what you're doing, though, right?
Yeah, I don't think we're very good right now, to be honest with you. I mean, I mentioned that, you know, we did enough offensively last week, but we weren't very good, you know, and you can take it for what it's worth. That's just the way we are.
What are you most impressed with about this group, like from a mentality kind of standpoint, the way they've been able to kind of respond in the second half in a lot of games?
You know, I'm happy with the whole team. You know, I mean, you know, everybody talks about the slow starts. Well, defensively, I think we started pretty fast. And special teams wise, I think we started pretty fast too. We talked about it all week just because offense went out there and fumbled around a little bit and punted and got beat and hung their heads, and me including started pressing a little bit. I mean, that doesn't mean our team started slow. That means 1/3 of the team started slow. You know, and our job offensively is you know, is just to do your job and worry about getting first downs, and that's it.
You scrimmage freshmen, scout team kids more this week?
A little bit. You know, a little bit. There's still not ample time to do that, you know. I mean, you still only got 4 hours a day, you know, and you know, those young guys, one, we're playing about 6 of them, but those young guys are so vital to our scout team squad stuff, to where we still got to do that, you know, and their time's going to come, but the majority of our time right now is to continue to get better at what we're doing on all 3 phases. You know, it's more important for us offensively, you know, to keep timing and practice against specific looks, and it's more important for our defense to keep practicing and practice against specific looks, to where we can't give each other that. That's what the look squads are for, you know. So we'd do it a little bit more than normal, but still the majority of our time today and tomorrow will be designed towards getting our main people better.
Talk about Starks, where he is now compared to where he was in your estimation at the start of the season.
He's padded up. And he's practicing, made a great catch, you know, which, you know, we've seen that around here out of him before. He's functioning good. You know, he's practicing well, you know, which the more he does that, And the more we play him in a game and his effort's good, which his effort's been really good for the last 2 weeks, then the more he'll play.
And as much as you care to share, what's your tactic out recruiting this week? Because you have so many things you can hang your hat on with numbers. Do you focus on something? Do you go with the whole list, or is it not next year or the years beyond?
Just area right now. Evaluation purposes, it's area. You know, which this 1 week we've designated this as our off week where we can send 10 coaches out on the road, me including. You know, that's an NCAA compliance thing, where everybody just goes and hits their area. You know, which, you know, I will go do a couple of things here and there, but everybody's got an area and everybody be out, you know, kind of focusing on their area.